Hey everybody, the last Shoegazer here, and welcome back to another edition of About Last Nightmare, the collaborative review series that I'm doing with my good friend Jason from Horrific Nightmares, where we watch a movie together that at least one of us has not seen, and we also try to pick ones that neither of us have seen, and that's the case with today's review. He, as I've shared before, is going to do part one. So make sure you go on over and check that out, where he talks, more about the background of the production and some cool facts about the cast and crew, those kinds of things. And I'm going to be talking about, the overall feel of the story and the vibe and just kind of our overall impressions as well as our rating in my part two. So, without further ado, the movie that we watched last night was Wild Eye Releasing's Asylum of Darkness. Now, this movie, guys, was a lot of fun, but it was a delightful mess. It was kind of all over the place. It was quite long. Jason shared with me that he found out that it was filmed kind of over a long period of time in different spurts, and then kind of pieced together. So, and you can kind of tell that it was because some of it just doesn't flow as you'd want it to, but it works with, I think, what they were trying to achieve. It's definitely a fun watch. We found ourselves laughing and saying, what the heck? Or, did that really just happen? Or did he really just say that? Or, just kind of reacting as we do, as he shared before. We message each other back and forth, because we don't actually watch these films in one another's company. He's in Maryland and I'm in Pennsylvania, so this is a fun way of doing this, but still connecting and kind of talking back and forth, and we talk on the phone a little bit. So that's sort of, how we collaborate and share our impressions as we're watching and afterwards as well for our rating. But he and I agreed, even though this was a fun time, it did have its flaws. We're going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. The benefit of the doubt. It was cool. A lot of the practical effects were pretty awesome. The gore, the visuals were quite entertaining and over the top. So if you're a fan of gore, you're going to enjoy a lot of parts in this. There's some really cool makeup with some of the masks that are actually quite random and cheesy. But yeah, the work that they put into it, there's no CGI, as far as I can tell, at least with regards to the makeup. There's some different shots where it's obviously a digital overlay, with some different scenes like out in the cemetery and some zombie-like apparitions and visions and whatnot. But overall, it's all pretty practical. Now, this is obviously, watching it was clear that it was fairly low budget. But I think with what they had to work with, and I think what they wanted to achieve, it all kind of came together, even though it was kind of all over the place, and left me with a smile on my face. And I think, Jason felt the same way. We were all, the whole entire time we were just kind of in awe of where it was taking us and what was going on, because it was just so hard to piece together and just craziness the whole entire time. Looking at the cover here, it looks like it's going to be like a possession kind of a film, and the setting here looks really cool and broken down and gnarly looking, but I don't know, the word asylum there in the title, I kind of thought that we'd be taken to this big, awesome, foreboding setting. But yeah, it was, I don't know, it was just more like a psych ward, like a, just a regular facility. It wasn't anything too horrific or creepy. So the setting wasn't, what you see here too much. And, what you see here with, the face kind of coming out of her here on the picture, that's not really what you see in the film. But it's fun. It's a cool watch. Like I said, we had a lot of laughs. A lot of it's very self-aware of how cheesy and goofy it gets at times. How the main character's internal monologue is very corny and sappy at times, as is the dialogue between some of the characters, and some of it's just like really random and off the wall, and some of the stuff they say is sort of strange. But overall, it is, has some creepy moments, a lot of funny moments, very over the top gore. I really enjoyed that. I could tell Jason did as well. But yeah, guys, we're going to go with 5.5. I would recommend, if you're into a film that kind of brings those things to the table, I would recommend checking this out. I think Wild Eye is aware of what they're doing with their releases. This was an obvious, attempt at a blend of cheesy, over-the-top horror with some laughs and some creepy stuff thrown in. Not a top-notch film by any means. Like I said, it's pretty low budget. But yeah, fun watch. Check it out. Check Jason's part 1 out, and make some comments in both of our videos. I like to go over and read what people say in his, and as well as my part. But yeah. I also wanted to say, Jason added in some of his comments that he was making to me about halfway through, it hit kind of a cool vibe where it almost started to feel like a bit reminiscent of the Twilight Zone, just with the main character kind of taking on the body of another person there, and just it felt similar to a Twilight Zone episode, and I almost thought it kind of was also reminiscent of Tales from the Dark Side. Both those series are similar in a lot of respects. But yeah, so if you kind of like that, mixed with everything I just shared with you guys, with the overall feel and vibe of this movie, and can brace yourself for some pretty off-the-wall cheesiness, definitely check this out. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed our review.